Hi everybody, welcome back today. Today I want to talk about a new lens that's out from Sigma. I am a Nikon guy through and through, so I would never think that I would actually get a third-party lens. And I've had a couple in the past, and I've had some kind of so-so experiences. One really bad experience. With some lenses that weren't Nikons, and then at some point I just said, you know what, I'm going to pay the extra money, I'm going to get the camera brand products, and I haven't looked back until now. There's one lens now has changed my mind. The third-party manufacturers are, this particular one, let's say, Sigma is stepping up their game, and they're really putting out an excellent quality product. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I could go on and on and on and on about every little detail, but I'm going to try to crunch it out a little quicker for you here, and show you some examples too. So I have shot with this several times now. First impression right out of the box, wow, that thing is gorgeous. Pull it out of the box, it looks like a Zeiss, or like a, it's just real classy. It's got a clean high-end look to it. It's all black, very simple. They didn't gaudy it up with rings and colors and any kind of thing like that. There's just a little A on the side, which denotes that it's in their new art category. They have art, contemporary, and sports. Art's going to be the high-performing primes. And zooms. This is the first in their series. I think they have planned the 50mm and an 85 as well, so I'm excited to see what those are going to be like. But right now this one's out, so the 35mm 1.4 opens up nice and big, so it's a fast lens, lets in a lot of light. I was about ready to get the Nikon version, the 35 1.4 from Nikon AFS lens, but reading a bunch of reviews, and checking out everything I could on it, and it turns out optically it's not as good as this lens. That's tough for me. I mean, first of all, it has the gold band on it, which in Nikon terms means that it's an ED glass lens, but there's no ED glass in it. There's no low dispersion elements. Like, how do you make a wide angle lens with pro lens with no low dispersion elements at all? It's only got one aspherical element, and that's it. There's no other fancy technology at all going in there, which is fine for a normal lens or even a short telephoto, but wide angle, you're bending light, you're going to start getting some chromatic aberration and stuff if you don't have better glass. So I was a little disappointed in Nikon at that price point, I think $1,650, $1,700 in the US, for not bringing out something with some good glass in it. This does just the opposite. This, first of all, it's a 13 element lens with 11 groups. 4 of the elements are super low dispersion glass. 2 of the elements are aspherical, and 1 of the elements is like a fluorite level low dispersion glass, so even higher than regular low dispersion glass. So right off the bat, they set it up to succeed and be optically top of the heap. So there is a 9-blade aperture, and it's a rounded 9-blade aperture, which produces really nice circular bokeh balls, or background points of light out of focus. I'll show you some pictures of the bokeh here. Now, some people criticize it as having onion bokeh. Oh, the bokeh is horrible. Well, another test, actually Digital Rev did a test, and they took pictures of 3, Kai took pictures of 3 with the Canon equivalent, the Nikon, and the Sigma, and then let everybody vote on it, and the Sigma won hands down. So as far as 35mm, fast 35mm lenses go, it's about the best bokeh you can get. So that's actually not a negative, but in scenes where it's a dark scene and you have bright points of light and you're shooting at 1.4 and you're going way out of focus, you can get what they call onion bokeh, which is kind of like in the bokeh ball, it looks like an onion was sliced and you see just little rings in there. It doesn't mean the bokeh is like nasty like onions or anything. So not a big problem. In areas where there's not, we don't have such an extreme situation, you won't see it at all. I'll post another one here, like this baby shot. This week I took this one. You see the background out of focus areas. There's nothing about it that's objectionable. It's just creamy and smooth. So it has really nice bokeh actually. It's one of the strong points of this lens. The build quality, it's nice and solid. You pick it up and it feels like a pro level lens. Internals are probably metal. I believe they are actually, the focusing cams and all that. The parts of the lens are metal, so the base is metal. You have the brass mount. You've got metal focusing ring that's rubber covered. It's very smooth. There is, in the focusing ring mechanism, there is no delay. There's no sloppiness. It connects right to the focusing. Turns it as soon as you turn it, so it's very precise if you're doing manual focus. It comes with a lens hood, and the lens hood is partially rubber, partially plastic. It has some ribs on it to help with grip, and it locks in nice and securely. You get a real nice click. That's as nice as I've ever felt a lens hood go on, actually. Pretty, it's pretty cool. The lens cap is more the newer Nikon style, where you can pinch in the center. It goes on and off real easy. As far as all the pieces that come with it, this is probably the ugliest. It's just black, plain, but functionally it works great. So that's all you need a lens cap to do. The lens is built in Japan, which is where most of Nikon, let's say, not all of them, most of Nikon's Pro Glass is built in Japan. This one is built in Japan too, and they said, Sigma said that they actually QC, quality control, every lens that comes off the line. So that's good to know when they actually run through tests and everything, to make sure each one is going to be perfect. They're really trying to up the game of their quality control, so they make sure that they're turning out a consistently high quality product. Focusing at 1.4 is spot on, and I've made no adjustments. Some people, I think people that even don't have the lens yet start typing into forums, oh, the focus is off and it's not that great. And focus was right on. I've got the D800, not the E, I've got the regular one. Focus was on at 1.4, and from a couple other tests I've read, they said it was actually better than the Nikon or Canon equivalent at focus accuracy. It's right on. So that is a plus in its part too. You have a switch on the side to go to manual focus or autofocus, but you also have full-time focusing override with the ring if you need it. I don't do a lot of manual focus, and the focus on this is so good. You just have to be careful where you place your focusing point, because it's going to be dead on that spot. So just be careful where you place your focusing point, and your depth of field is going to be really shallow at 1.4, and you should be good to go. Let's see, the focus is quiet. Let me see if I can show you this here. See if you can hear it. That's it. I doubt you'll be able to hear that. I don't see anything moving on the screen over there. It's real quiet. There's no squeaks or anything. I have had some Nikon lenses, and especially the more consumer grade lenses, just kind of squeak along, and then they lock in. It's nice and quiet, so it should be good for video, and it won't be distracting at weddings or anything else like that. Yeah, you have a 9-bladed aperture, and it's a rounded aperture. Stays round till about f4, so you get really nice blur characteristics when you're shooting portraits or anything where you need a very big aperture. Once you stop down to 5.6 and beyond, you get really nice pointed, 18 pointed sun stars at points of light. I'll show you a picture here, see if we can see those. They're very clean, and they're clean all the way to the edge of the frame because the lens has virtually no coma. Coma is where the points of light turn into little kind of sickle cells at the corner of the picture. This does an extremely good job at preventing that. So you also get really nice sun stars all the way in the corners. Distortion on the lens is very low. It's the lowest in the class. So, you know, barrel or pincushion distortion is very easy to correct, and most cases you don't even have to correct it because you won't notice it. But if you're shooting architecture, you just need a slight correction. You're not going to lose pixels. You're not going to lose resolution from correcting because it is very slight. If you're shooting architecture for a living and you need 35, this is a great one for you. It's not a shift lens. A shift lens will correct converging lines too when you're pointed up or down. But as far as a straight lens goes, distortion's great. The vignetting. One thing this lens gets hit for is vignetting. Oh, the corners darken on me. The corners, you know, vignetting's it's just unacceptable. Well, at 1.4, when I'm shooting a portrait, I almost always vignette it in post because even Ansel Adams said this. Picture is not finished until the edges are burned in. Well, he used to in the darkroom burn in the edges to give the focus, draw the focus towards the center of the picture. You know, darken the edges and it finished the print. He considered it finished once the edges were burnt in. That was his last step. I do that in the darkroom, and what I found is if there's a natural gradation in the scene already and you add a vignette on it, sometimes you can get this weird aliasing effect in the gradient. When you're shooting it with the lens having a natural vignette, you don't get that problem. You have a nice smooth transition of tones and it looks great. So for me, it's not something to worry about, plus it goes away a couple stops down. So I wouldn't worry about the vignetting myself. Plus, it's not any stronger than the Canon or Nikon equivalents. Actually, I think the Nikon might even be higher at vignetting. So it's, you know, I don't even know why anybody's complaining about it, actually. So not something to worry about in my book, but it is there, and you can take it away. You know, if you use Lightroom or Photoshop, you can eliminate the vignette if you choose. So that's very easy to do in post. The sharpness, because of the low dispersion glass elements and the aspheric elements, you're not getting color fringes. You know, the color fringes on a D800, as far as I forget the site, DxO something or other. The color fringes were tested and were less than 1 pixel width. That's very low. And we're talking at f1.4. When you stop down, they're almost non-existent. So that's incredible performance for a 35mm. And really, it's the best performance of any 35mm lens, retrofocus design, that is. So any lens, any SLR with a mirror in it. That's the best performance of any lens made to date for a full-frame DSLR. That's pretty fantastic. And you get all this at $899 in the U.S. $899. That's $750 less than the Nikon version that doesn't have all these technologies. Not trying to bash Nikon. I have had many lenses. I've had many pairs of binoculars. I've had many camera bodies. You know, I'm still a big Nikon fan, but in the case of the 35, I had to go with the Sigma. It feels like a pro lens. It shoots like a pro lens. I'm going to show you some more pictures here. You know, it's hard not to recommend. So try not to just gush and gush about it, but it really is that good. So if you have any hesitation, there really shouldn't be one. Trying to think. Yeah, I mentioned the bokeh with the onion bokeh. You know, I showed you an example of that. That's the only issue that I can think of anybody if you're shooting nighttime cityscape photography out of focus. That's the only situation where I can see you getting objectionable bokeh situation, and that's even easy to fix in post too. So it's up to you. So I think that should cover it. The one other thing that people mention, and they mention it all the time, as a con of this lens, is non-weather sealed. Because the Nikon lens is weather sealed, weather sealed, so you can basically shoot it in the rain. I say, remember 10 years ago when we were shooting, and none of the lenses were weather sealed, and nobody cared. Nobody was like, oh gosh, my lens got destroyed in the rain again. You never did that. You just weren't out shooting in the rain. So to me, that's not a drawback at all. I could use this lens for 10 years and it would never get, waterlogged or anything. But that's one difference that the Nikon has over the Sigma. It does have a gasket that keeps some water out if you're shooting in the rain. The Canon equivalent, the Canon 35 1.4, it's not weather sealed either. So who cares, right? All right. Well, I guess that's about it. We're gonna have some other camera reviews for you soon, and by we I mean me and the voices in my head. We'll keep shooting, and we'll keep showing you some new stuff. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.